Previously, on our 50 defense GIM account, we finally unlocked the Tombs of Amascut raid. Now, we got ahead of ourselves by doing a 400 TOA invocation, or rather, I say, we sent a few attempts of that, but that quickly proved to be quite difficult, not only taking a ton of chip damage, but also at Akka, we failed to do enough damage and we got DPS checked by the Akka shadows. Today, we're going to be lowering the invocation to give ourselves a better shot. We're going to be running a 350 invocation level. Now, keep in mind, since we just got to Tombs of Amascut, we don't have a few things. We don't have the Thread of Elodinus, which gives us an extra rune slot in our rune pouch. We don't have any of the gems for the Karis, and we certainly don't have the yellow gem, which is arguably the most important one, which is kind of like a get out of jail free card and changes the way you go through the raid entirely. While we failed to get a completion last time around, we did manage to pick up a few combat tasks, combat achievements, and I'm going to be looking to do that once again. So I suppose without wasting any more time, let's head into the raid. I just pre-anglered, so I'm up to 120 health right now. And we're going to be starting out with Zabak instead of Baba. Usually, with the way this raid goes, there are two metas, two orders you want to go in to complete this raid. I think the most common one is to do the Baba room first, followed by Kefri, then Akka, then Zabak here. But you can also go the other way around and start with Zabak first, and that's what we're going to be doing right now. Oh, we messed up on a good start. That's okay. We already got the perfect Kronda's combat achievement, so let's try to get through this raid. Now, for those unaware, this account is a 50 defense GIM group. Now, for those unaware, this account is a 50 defense account, and you may be wondering how I managed to get all this gear. Well, it's attached to my already maxed Grandmaster GIM, in which a lot of this gear I already had unlocked. For example, this Tumican Shadow is actually a dupe that I kept onto the account, so that I actually have two shadows in the GIM group, and I have two Scythes of Vitter as well. Not that the scythe is relevant for this raid in particular. What we are missing, though, is a second Twisted Bow. And what we can get from this raid specifically is a second set of Missouri. I've certainly pulled duplicate Missouri pieces before, but back then this account didn't exist, so I just opted to drop those over for bond money and split money and things of that nature. So here we are again having to do Tombs of Amascut to get a set of Missouri. Now, being 50 defense, we can wear the unfortified version, but we can't wear the fortified version. That's why we haven't traded that over. And of course, here at TOA, there is some untradeable stuff like the Thread of Elodinus, the gems for the Karis, things of that nature, and we're here for the combat achievements as well. I'm actually not even sure what tier of combat achievements we're at on this account. Maybe medium. And that is the first path completed. You can see we definitely haven't had a completion before, as we still get that crocodile NPC spawning. And he's also here in the middle. That's actually Crondus. Okay. Next up, we're going to be doing Kefri, which is on the other side. Almost went into the wrong room. Doing TOA in this room in particular is a bit weird because you have to run back and forth to solve these puzzles. You can tell that it's very much intended to be done with at least 2 people, but it does allow for it to be soloed. Now, unlocking this raid, I have ambitions of achieving a TOA 500 to get the Fang kit on this account still being 50 defense. However, after the previous session where we attempted to do not even a 500 but a 400, I'm a bit skeptical if that achievement, that milestone, is possible for me being 50 defense. I mean, we got DPS checked at Akka. That is crazy. But we'll see what happens, and that's why we're just testing things out right now at a 350 TOA. And if we successfully do this, we actually will get a kit, just not the Fang kit. We will be getting the Missouri kit, Missouri backpack kit. Although us having a quiver, we won't really get to use it, but it'll be nice to have just to say we did it. I don't believe we have more overlords on in this 350 invocation, so no meleeer, no melee scarab on that first set of spawns. Okay, we got done with the second set of scarabs. The mage scarab in particular is the most dangerous, as that is also kind of like a DPS check. And if you fail it, you get hit with the massive damage, which I do believe you can survive if your health is high enough, but it is very dangerous. Now the rest of this room should be smooth sailing. We might have to proc redemption just to get some health back, as we are getting chipped away with poison right now. Let's go ahead and turn redemption on right now. You can see that, you know, just for a couple of ticks there, we had no protection prayers on, and because of the redemption proccing, and we took massive chip damage to these agile scarabs pretty much right away. That's just an example of how unforgiving even 50 defense is compared to 99 defense, and not just the actual defense level in itself, but also the armor you're able to wear. Currently, we're just wearing the Moon's gear, the Perilous Moon's gear, which is obviously the best available stuff for us. But yeah, it's not providing much defense, and it's actually not providing much prayer bonuses either. That is another factor. Typically, I would go power on the supply bundle for the first set, but I think I'm going to go chaos. I don't have much use for the liquid adrenaline with my current setup anyways. That means I can put away these combat boosting potions at the very least, and I may want to hold on to these regular supplies just in case. I don't know. I mean, we only have one brew after all, actually. That's kind of crazy. Okay. I will put away this 2-dose prayer, though. We actually have plenty of prayer, but not a whole lot of healing, funny enough. So that's 2 rooms down. Let's head into Akka now, which is pretty much a room we always do third for whatever reason. And we don't have space to pick up this mirror. Okay, we'll just temporarily put some stuff back into the supply bag here. And we need another mirror. We do have a 40-minute time limit here. I think that should be okay. 40 minutes is plenty of time. But it's not like I've ever done TOA on this account, so really I have no reference. The only references I do have is from the other account, which has absolutely no restrictions. And even then, it's been a while since I did any solo TOA. Alright, let's go ahead and put the pickaxe away. Let's withdraw the salt once again. That is not the salt. Where's the salt? Here's the salt. And we're going to be heading into Akka. We're going to be utilizing the butterfly method. We do have the Tunic and Shadow. And on the 400 TOA, this is where we got DPS checked here. And I was just really surprised by that. So let's see what happens on the 350. So obviously being 50 defense, we don't have access to some of the prayers like Piety, and even the Cox prayers like Rigor and Augury. And in particular with the mage setup, we're missing a whole lot of magic damage percentage. So that's probably why we're going to feel the DPS loss compared to a regular setup the most with the magic setup. So here we go, first shadow. Let's see if we can do enough damage. I'm kind of fumbling here. Okay, much better this time around. Wasn't even close. I don't know if we just got really unlucky on that first 400 or if that was the norm. I don't know. After we get through this, if we get through this, maybe I'll try a 400 once again. But I gotta say, as I said before, being DPS checked on a 400 TOA invocation, much less the 500, did not seem like it was going to be a good sign moving forward. Audio actually seems a bit loud right now, so I'm going to turn that down ever so slightly. I guess I might as well blow pipe spec because I don't have spec for anything else. Very nice transition from quadrant to quadrant. Yeah, DPS does not seem to be an issue whatsoever on this 350. For those unaware, the higher invocation level you go, obviously the more invocations you add on, the more stipulations, the rooms might change ever so slightly, but also the biggest factor, actually, is that defense levels increase. Everything just becomes much tankier. But things certainly seem to be okay and doable at this 350 invocation level currently. Although our hits on this last one are a bit low right now. I may have jinxed it. This is cutting it pretty close. Oh, and I think we're about to fail it. That's unfortunate. At least we were prepared for it this time. So even on a 350, we failed to do enough damage to the shadow, and I don't feel like I missed too many hits there. I think we just had unfortunate hits. But it also just occurred to me, like, if you have a Tumican Shadow, generally it's a no-brainer that you would want to use it on the shadows here. But maybe in my situation that's not the case, I don't know. I wonder if a blowpipe would be more consistent damage. Just something to think about. I have not actually ran any calculations for DPS. But I feel like there's no way that's going to be the case, right? Like, if you have a Tumican Shadow, surely that's best. Surely. Okay, one more hit here, and that's going to, of course, I hit a 0. And this is going to be the Akka room. Fantastic. And we get... I was under the impression that we would get a combat achievement or two, but I guess not. That's unfortunate. Now for the 4th room before Wardens, this is going to be the Baba room. Do we have 2 salts? We don't, so I'm going to put this away so I don't actually use it. Although we might be going Chaos again. Gotta focus down these shamans as they spawn more of these baboon thralls. That's not a good thing, so want to focus those down first if you can. There's another one over there. Let's go ahead and keep our prayer up as well. And there's just one more wandering around. Gotta make sure I don't get dragged into poison here. There we go. That is the puzzle room, although it's not really a puzzle. Completed. Let's move on over. You know, as my salt is running out, I'm pretty sure I'm safe to eat this salt again. If not, I don't know. We'll figure it out afterwards, but... Huge BGS, although we only really needed it to hit a 20, as 20 defense is the max you can actually reduce the defense levels to these bosses. Wardens is actually a little bit higher, I believe, but for these 4 rooms... So typically in the Baba room, when these baboons spawn, I would ignore them, but you can see I just took like 10 damage off of 2 rock throws. It's very brutal. I gotta focus those down right away. Being that we're salted, there should be no concern whether or not we one-shot these boulders, I'm pretty sure. Let's just be patient here. And there we go. Just start making our way down the room so that when the boulders proc, there's not as long of an animation. There we go. Well, maybe I don't have boulder dash on. It feels like I don't have boulder dash on. I think we had it for the 400, but not the 350. Without boulder dash on, if you're quick enough, you can actually just hit one boulder and make it to the top, but that's never possible if you do have boulder dash on. Let's get rid of these baboons. See, a 12 right there instantly. It's very punishing. Okay, on to Wardens. Oh, we actually get an Ambrosia in Chaos as well. That is very lucky. And we actually have a bunch of restores still sitting in our supply bag, so that's very, very fortunate. Well, go ahead and put away this one prayer dose, I suppose. We won't be needing our Fang anymore, so in the interest of inventory space, let's put that away as well. Honestly, I can't believe we have an Ambrosia out of the Chaos. I think that's very lucky. This is the first time on this account we've made it to Wardens, actually. So if you have a 10 tile range weapon, something that you can very easily do, well actually scratch that, I can't put my shadow on long range, so I won't be doing that. Good thing I caught that, that could have been bad. And we'll actually tank a couple more of these orbs just to give ourselves enough time. Let's just be safe, don't greed hits, and brew when we can. We can last hit with the BGS for extra damage. There we go. Typically, this would be a 3-down Warden. I don't know if that's still going to be the case with our setup here. I hope it is. Otherwise, we would have to bring a Dragon Dagger or something like that. Oh, 0.2%, that is very unfortunate. I even took the opportunity there to spec with the BGS. I think that actually does more damage. Oh, we're supposed to be ranging. Okay, if I had spec'd every single time, then that would have been fine, I think. But now we get a fort down, which is not ideal. This is a drain on our supplies. So it's just going to be one hit here, one tap, and there we go. Here we go. Warden's P3, Insanity is on. It's crazy how we, like, I feel like the Shadow is so much weaker without the Ancestral and Augury. And it objectively is a lot weaker. It really does have me questioning whether something else would be better due to my restrictions here, but I do doubt it. And one more hit. Okay, I feel like every time I'm like, yeah, one more hit, guys, it just proceeds to hit a 0 or like the absolute lowest number possible. But there we have it. A whole lot of combat achievements. I don't even know how many that is. What the heck? That is a lot of combat achievements. That's like half the TOA combat achievements, honestly. Let's just let these play out real quick before we move on to the loot room. And this was a 350, so we should be expecting the kit. Still keeps on going. Novice, Tomb, Explorer. Yeah, that's why there's so many combat tasks, because it's both a normal and expert it's going through right now. Still going. Confident Raider. I don't recall this one at all. Like, that doesn't even seem familiar. I wonder what that one is. It's still going. I do wonder how many points we got out of that. 9, 14, 19, 22, 25, 28, 32, 36. We got 36 combat achievement points out of that. All right, let's make our way down this long haul. First raid on this account, and we don't get a purple. Can't be lucky. What do we get out of the chest, though? Oh, we get a Thread 1KC. I mean, obviously the Missouri crafting kit was guaranteed, but the fact that we get the thread 1 KC as well, fantastic. 6 Dragon Med Helms, wow. The 1 KC thread, let's go. So I mentioned this when we first unlocked Tombs of Amascut in the previous video, but upon 1 KC, upon your first completion, all these NPCs are standing out here, and you go through the dialogue. They ramble on for quite some time, and alright, I've gone through all the dialogue. Looks like it's one antique lamp here, and we're going to be putting this into magic. So when we completed that first raid, a wall of text just popped up with all those combat achievements, but let's not forget, honestly, the biggest thing there was the 1 KC thread of Elidinus. So I have myself a needle and thread in my inventory, and I forget how this goes. Maybe I just use it. Actually, I don't need the thread, obviously, but maybe I can use the thread on the rune pouch. Yep, there we go. And there we have it. And there we have it, a divine rune pouch. With that 4th extra slot, we can now put soul runes in there, death runes. And actually, for mains and anyone out there that often makes Aether runes, that's probably the biggest thing right there. Also, if you're on the Ancient Spellbook, you can now Ice Barrage and Blood Barrage without having to put one of the runes in your inventory. You know, throw on a show, throw on a movie, which is actually exactly what I'm doing right now, but just pausing it real quick just to catch this level. 1 EXP remaining, there we go, 91 mining, and I think 1 more level to go, and it's going to be a pretty significant unlock. Let's scroll down here, and at 92, we can start mining amethyst.